There's a squid just there underneath me, I can see it. Yep, we're on. See that pulsing? See, I've only got him by one tentacle. Good afternoon, Isaac from One Up Fishing, and today we're down in Kurnell with one aim, and that's just purely catching squid. So Kurnell is on the south side of Botany Bay in Sydney, and it consists of the area Silver Beach, and the whole way along Silver Beach is a whole bunch of rock wall structures called groins. There's several of these groins, and the further west the groin is, if you have a look on Google satellite images, you'll see that the ones that are to the west more are surrounded by weedy ribbon weed patches kind of thing, real seaweed, little bit of sand, but mostly just those weed beds, and that's where the squid live. They love those weed beds. They, you know, live there, hunt there, lay their eggs there, and so that's where they are. And also, if you're going to fish here, you need to bring down your own rod holders. This is just a, you know, 1.5 meter piece of PVC pipe, and then you just find somewhere in the rocks that you can jam it and create your own little rod holder. This is the Bite Science 2.5 greenback squid jig. Squid jigs are the best lures to catch squid on. So many different brands, so many different colors. I'm not going to try and explain the different colors and, you know, features of each one, because I honestly don't know that much. I'll just be regurgitating what I've read. Just Google squid jig colors condition and you'll get a whole bunch of different charts and stuff coming up saying when to use all the different colors and stuff. But basically it's got a weight, looks like a little prawn creature, big eye, and it's got these needle barbs that are one way. So the squid will come in, grab it, and then try and swim off with it, and it'll kind of impale itself on these barbs. So when you hook one, you need to just keep the pressure on to keep those barbs in. If you kind of let your line go loose, the squid might be able to swim off and then get its arms free. So you need to keep that tension on. Bring a net if you can. It definitely helps with landing them, because that's where you'll lose a lot of different squid. So like with any lure, especially with squidding, you just want to try and cover as much ground as you can. So start, you know, somewhere, cast out, work your lure back, and then just move a little bit to the left or right. Cast out, work your lure back, and then just keep doing that, covering as much ground as you can, looking for those squid. When you do hook a squid, it's not like a fish. You won't feel a big strike or anything. You'll just kind of feel more weight on your lure. And this is method number 2 to catch squid. So this is the lazy man's method. So you've got the squid jig, and then just a bit of leader. This is fairly heavy. I think it's 30 pounds. In case we get snagged, we can try and pull free from the weed. Then a swivel, little sinker for weight, and then a float up to a float stop. And that float stop lets us change the length on the fly. So you want this lure to be, you know, in the bottom part of the water column, pretty much maybe a foot or maybe 2 foot, but probably a foot off the bottom. If it's not snagging, you can try and increase the length, and then if it starts snagging, you know, to decrease it, and that's as low as you can keep it. Your first couple casts will probably just be learning how deep you can put that lure. So just cast that out. And today it's actually a light easterly. So cast it out there, and then the easterly wind should just push it along, and it'll drift, keep drifting along over all these weed beds. And then eventually it'll kind of be, you know, drift to a point where it stops and it's in line with the wind, and then that's where you know to kind of bring it back in, and then just cast it out and just keep letting it drift across those weed beds, and it'll find some squid. So it's definitely getting snagged at the moment, so I'll shorten that float stop, and there's that bit of ribbon weed that it's getting caught on, so I'll shorten it up and send it back out. And then, so I've casted it out, just keep, you know, line that float up with something in the background, just so you can keep track to see if it's floating along. Because if it's not moving, then it's snagged up again. Always work your lure right up to the last possible moment, because a lot of the times the squid will come all the way up and they can take your bait or take your lure right there, you know, right next to the rock wall or right next to the boat. So keep working that lure all the way up. So if you're going to come out here, just remember, you got to be pretty agile. You're going to hop across all these rocks to get out to the end of the rock wall. So you got to be pretty mobile. Probably not one to bring, you know, grandma on. You can see here as well, there's a few patches of ink kind of squirted. Great sign that there's recent squid activity in the area. So that float's drifted pretty much from like the northeast, cast it out, it's drifted right around. So I'll bring it back in, cast it back out, and then just let it drift. It takes a few minutes for it to drift all the way. What's that, a little whiting swimming by? You let your jig sink, you know, for a couple seconds, bang, it's already in the weed. There's a squid just there underneath me, I can see it. Yep, we're on. See that pulsing? There's the ink. Okay. I really want to get some underwater footage. Hopefully we don't lose him. Alright, hopefully we've got some underwater shots. And then this is my little butterfly net. The trick to netting them is just getting... Alright, so the trick to netting them is getting behind them. And then that way they'll go backwards into your net. And there we go. There he is, there's the lure. Green and pink, did the damage. Good looking guy. Let's get him out of the net. His skin's just firing and doing all crazy patterns. Here he is, one squid. I definitely got lucky. I saw him swimming by and then threw the jig in right near him, and he was hungry and he went straight for it. Bang, we were on. Bang, karate chopped. He went white. That's how you know he's dead. I didn't get that guy on the weed beds. There's this deep channel here that runs through. Then it kind of gets shallow again on the weed beds. And I've been watching, there's a few, you know, fish and whatnot that are coming by. Even now, there's a little school or something kind of coming through this channel. But then I looked and I was like, that's not a fish. And it was a solo squid just cruising along. Just bang, lobbed it out. And he went for it. So yeah, they are around. I can actually see the edges. Don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I can see the edges of the weed bed. So I'll just try and work the lure along those. And that way I can kind of let it sink more to the bottom and not have to kind of worry about the squid jig hooking onto some weed, because it'll just be a sandy bottom. But it'll be next to the weed, hopefully some squid there. So it sinks down and then bang, you work it up and then it sinks down again. And usually on the sink, that's when the squid will attack it, but they'll see it on the two big jigs, the two big lifts. That's when they'll kind of, their eyes will see something moving and focus in and then come for your lure. But then they'll take it on the drop. That's it for today. Let's head off. Come back tomorrow. Hello, hello. A little float. It's missing its plastic tube, but I'm sure I'll be able to use that. And I saw this on the way in. There's a witch's hat crab trap. Belongs to June. He's got a phone number. I'll give him a call. I wonder if he knows it's here. Some people just don't answer an unknown number.
Hello.
Hello, is this June?
Yes.
How you going, man? I've found your crab trap.
Our crab trap, yeah?
Yeah, it's at Kurnell. It's washed up on the beach if you want it.
Yeah.
So.
I'm too far away.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying come get it now, but someone's just put it up on the grass bit here, so it'll probably still be here if you come pick it up in the next few days.
Okay. Can you just discard it? Don't worry about it. Yeah.
You want me to get rid of it?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, no worries, man. All right, no worries, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
So, called old June, and he can't come get it. He wants me to discard it, so I can do that. I'll definitely keep the rope and the clips and stuff off it, but the trap itself's fairly tangled up and it's probably not worth untangling it. They're only like 10 bucks a pop. Hence why June doesn't want to come get it anyway. Long way for him to drive and come get an old trap that probably won't even work.
Meanwhile.
All right, I'm down at the Kurnell boat ramp in Botany or Kurnell. And let's do another loot stash. Here's the loot. All right, this loot stash consists of a 1-up sticker and this Bite Science Squid Slayer 2.5 in orange. So I'm gonna go hide this now. And yeah, the first one to come find it gets to keep it. Good luck. All right, it's hidden. Finders keepers. Good luck.
Day 2.
Squid jig number 1. This UV white 3.0 Squid Slayer by Bite Science. It's a nice pearlescent white, so it should hopefully attract some squids in. That'll be the first one we send out. So this is rig 1, we've just got the squid jig underneath a float. And so it's an easterly, so if I cast out here, I can just let it float along, and it's going to float over all these weed beds and float around hopefully to like here. And then we can just reel it in and recast if it hasn't found a squid yet. Second squid jig, same brand, same size, and this is just the red color. So the Bite Science Squid Slayer. Here she is. So it's kind of perfect with the little bit of wind chop out there, because as the float kind of sits there, and the float's going to bob up and down slightly, just as it goes across the waves, and then it'll just impart that little natural jig on the squid jig and hopefully attract something. I think we got one, guys. There's something pulling on this line. Yep, we got one. Get my little squid net. I think it's a butterfly net, but same. Oh yes, that is a nice calamari. Don't get inked. Oh, he almost got me. Here he is. Look at that beautiful, very beautiful squid. Happy with that. Yes, he did get me on the leg. Nice squid. There's my hand. Here's the squid jig, and he's kind of gnawed away at a bit of it. Cheeky. There he is, guys. A nice squiddy. He's trying to jump out. I think I've got another one, guys. Squid number 2. So 5, it's 11 past 5 now, and all the squiddies are coming out. I may even have one on the other rod. So you do want to keep pressure on, so they don't, because it's kind of one-way needles that they grab onto the squid jig. See, I've only got him by one tentacle. Squid number 2. I think that was the next cast we got him, so let's quickly get him off and try send the rig out again. Here he is. This is squid number 2, 20 centimeters. Again on the white squid jig under a float. Let's just keep doing it, guys. We'll send the jig and the float out this way and just let the easterly just blow it along past the front of us here. There's a pod of dolphins just out there, just cruising along. Botany Bay dolphins. Maybe one more kind of cast and drift, and then that'll be it. That'll be me done. All right, this is the final drift as we run out of light. It looks lighter on the camera. As far as my eyes go, it's quite hard to see now. There's a nice big blue swimmer crab just cruising along there. Here they are, the 2 nice squid. Not a bad dinner. Alright guys, that's the end of my video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you've learned some tips and you'll be able to go give it a crack and try and get some land-based squid yourself. Come down to Kurnell. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing. It really helps my channel grow. And if you're already a subscriber, consider becoming a channel member. Just click down below and join, or the link, and that'll just bring up more information of all the bonuses you get by becoming a member. But yeah, good luck getting some squid out there. I'll see you in the next video.